Well, I am excited because we have a fabulous speaker today. And she's just such a light. I don't know how long we've known each other, maybe like 5 years now?
Since 2010, I think.
Okay, almost six.
Yeah.
So Susan, Reverend Susan Warner, she popped in here and has just been a great light to our center in so many ways. And I was privileged to have her in my ADL class, and she's just done remarkable things with her ministry. She's started a ministry in, what town do you live in?
Green Creek. Well,
Green Creek.
Tryon,
Green Creek. And it's her basement chapel, the Christ Spirit Church. And she and her husband Charlie just hold that space every Sunday for whoever shows up, and just holds the space and prays every day for people. And it's just beautiful to see what you guys are doing. And over the winter, well, we're still in it, I guess. Doesn't feel like it. But during these cold months, they started a heater ministry. And how many did you all give out?
We've given out 42 so far.
Hey, all right. So that is fantastic. Yeah. So they're living the word, as they say. So Susan, as I mentioned, is also a great model for prosperity and so many other things. And let's give Susan Warner a great welcome. We're glad you're here. Okay, dear.
Wow, it's great to be here. It's great to be back. It's great to see all my old friends, meet some new friends. It's just wonderful to be here. What a blessing. I wouldn't have my ministry if it wasn't for Charlotte, because when I was teaching the prosperity class, we had to have a dream. And it occurred to me that my dream actually was to be a pulpit pastor. I'd been a minister for many years, but I'd never really been drawn to that. But because of Charlotte and the way she encourages people to get up and share, I found that I got up and shared, and I really got hooked on it. I found that I loved it more than anything. And so really, the Christ Spirit Church owes its beginnings to Charlotte and the Namaste Center. That's for sure. So we're all on a spiritual path, every one of us, not just us here, but everyone really in the world is on a spiritual path, because we're all mind, body, and spirit. So how could we not be on a spiritual path? But have you ever experienced spiritual sluggishness? Have you ever just found some roadblocks on your path to spirituality and just gone, oh man, I mean, like boulders sometimes appear. And this is natural, it's just the way it is, because we are spirit and mind in a body, and we're on this earth plane, this place where we are presented with duality so that we can change and grow. We all have this challenge from time to time. And one of the things that can really challenge you on your spiritual path is not having enough money. This can be really huge. It can cause you to feel depressed. It can cause you not to be able to use your gifts, but instead to have to maybe go out and do a job that you might not be crazy about. You might not feel as that much of a contribution, although it really is. Whatever you're doing, it's holy and sacred. But it's really hard to keep that steam going. It's hard to keep the freshness of your spiritual path alive. I find this in my life. It's true in the life of everyone I know. And if you ever experience spiritual sluggishness, then I would like to suggest to you that maybe it's time for something radical. Maybe it's time for you to go in a radical direction, to do something crazy, to do something counterintuitive. Maybe it's time. Do you want radical results? If you do, I want a radically great life, and actually I have it. Life isn't perfect for me either, but my life is fabulous, and I'll be sharing a little bit about that too. But to get these radical results, sometimes it does take stepping out of your comfort zone, way out of your comfort zone sometimes, to find that freshness and to stay plugged into spirit and to get all the gifts and rewards of a spiritual life lived well. So I'm going to suggest something outrageous, totally outrageous. As you grow, as you go through high school, the tests get harder and harder. You go to college, the tests are harder than they were in high school. If you go to graduate school, which I didn't, but I understand, the tests get really hard. You know, you wouldn't give a graduate school examination to a fifth grader. You know, it just, as we go through life, the tests, the challenges, the opportunities to step forward and say, here I am, here is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it. These can be seen as tests also, tests of our will. They get harder. Now, I'm going to ask a question. None of us in here are really, really young, so you probably have heard of the limbo. Remember the limbo? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, right. Well, and in the limbo, the bar doesn't get higher, the bar gets lower. And as you know, if you've ever done this, it's wonderfully fun. I actually wish it would come back. But you know, you get a little back pain, you know, as the bar gets lower and lower and you're trying to dance under it. And pain is a part of growth. Discomfort is a part of growth. And if you're uncomfortable, good, you're growing. That's good, it's a good thing. Because both your bliss and your discontent are indicators. Not this, this. Not that, this. So if you're uncomfortable, this is a good thing and you're growing. But it can be very uncomfortable. And when we don't have enough, when we just don't have enough material prosperity, it can be really, really tough. And I have found a way to do this. When I was a little bitty girl, my mom would put money in a little white envelope every Sunday. And one day I asked her, what are you doing? And she said, well, this is a tithe envelope, and Daddy and I give a tithe. And she explained what that was, 1/10 of everything that came in to our church. And I thought, well, that's really stupid. Why are you doing that? You know, I didn't understand it. And as I grew up, though, I saw my family go from being poor, really poor, we really struggled, to having more and more and more, and Mom's just putting those little envelopes in every Sunday. And then I began to realize that, you know, maybe that's really not stupid. And then when I was about 17 years old, my dad had risen in the ranks. He started as a cop on the beat, and he became head of a department, the investigation department, and he had a little crime van and, you know, NCIS, that kind of thing, you know, only not for the Navy. And by the time I graduated from high school, my dad was making in excess of $100,000 a year. Just that steady progress. And I got to tell you that with my tithing mom, I never really thought I was poor. I always had clothes. A lot of them were hand-me-downs from my cousins, you know, but I always had clothes, always had food, always had shelter. It was back in the 60s, so my parents were able to buy a home on just my dad's salary, which was a miracle in itself. But everything always worked out, you know? And so when I was an adult, I think I was maybe in my 20s when I first thought, well, I'm going to try this. I was going to a Unity church, and I thought, I'm going to give tithing a try. And I tried it, and I got great results, and then I had a big bill or something would come up, and I'd say, not this Sunday. And I would get off the tithing wagon, and I would completely stop. And then, you know, things were the same. I mean, things just didn't change. You know, my level of prosperity, my level of joy, it didn't really change. But in 2003, I went through a lot of major changes, and one of the changes was I said, okay, I saw it work for my mom and dad. You know, I had seen Edwina Gaines, who is a pretty well-known prosperity teacher. I'd seen her. She challenged us all to try it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try it again. But this time, I'm not going to quit. And I had a car payment of $270 a month. You know, I had rent and bills like anybody else, and I had some student loan money coming because I was going to college. But I was really, really strapped. And in this place, it was kind of like, well, it can't get a whole lot worse. And I was making $7.50 an hour and working 30 hours a week in a nursing home laundry, which was interesting. But, you know, I had everything I needed. I had $13 a month left after I gave my tithe, paid my car, my insurance, my rent, my utilities, and all of that stuff. Everything but food. I had $13 a month to buy food and to buy gas. And that was pretty much it. But I want to tell you something. That was one of the happiest periods of my life because I began to realize for the first time that I wasn't alone. I began to really feel the love that Spirit has for us. It began to be real in my life. And I was just like a little joy bunny. I mean, I was whipping through that nursing home laundry, shoveling out those towels and cleaning those dirty diapers. And I'm very proud to say the nurses would say, "Oh, thank God it's you in the laundry tonight because we know we'll have towels." I was very proud of that. I was very happy. I won a little award too for in housekeeping. You know, I won a little housekeeping award. And I was joyful. I was very joyful. And I kept on with the tithing. And I had told God, I said, "Okay, God, you know, if I lose the truck, you know, if I become homeless, I'm not going to stop." Because I saw what stopping did and didn't do anything. You know, it didn't cause a disaster, but I didn't get the big blessing either. So I just made up my mind that, doggone it, no matter what, I wasn't going to stop. And then after about 2 or 3 years of this, I landed a wonderful job that was related to my field. I was hired as a social worker in a very nice nursing home here in Hendersonville and was given I was the head of the social work department. I had my own office and my little cell phone. It was a BlackBerry back then. You know, I miss those. I actually liked that a lot. But I had this wonderful, wonderful job. And then not long after that, I met my wonderful husband, another one of my desires. And my life has just been awesome ever since. You know, we're not wealthy, but we have what we need. And see, I found this out. Even when I was making $7.50 at the nursing home laundry, I found out that it's not just all about money coming in. It's about things just get paid for. When I was tithing, I was doing my part. Things were just getting paid for. And that's because by tithing, I had made a decision to become a full partner with God. A full partner. Now, how many of you have heard we are co-creators with God? How many believe we are co-creators with God? Okay, great. Well, we are co-creators with God, and you don't have to do a darn thing to be that. You really don't. It's automatic. You're born on this earth. You co-create with God with every thought, every feeling, every action, everything you do. You are creating your reality with God. And boy, that's a tough one when you really think about it. It's pretty hard. We are co-creators anyway. Don't have to do a thing to be that. But to be a partner with Spirit is a choice. We can do that. We can join up. We can buy into that partnership. We can be partners with Spirit. And that's what I am now and have been for all these years, of a partner with Spirit. And boy, I'm reaping the benefits. I mean, it's like if you walked into a big law firm and said, "Hi, poof, you know, I'm your new partner," you know, that you would just be very well taken care of. Well, that's what God has done in our lives, mine and my husband's. We're taken care of. A lot of you know my husband has had some bad luck, although I don't believe in luck. Our horse ran over his foot and took off running on his foot and pulled a big plug out of his foot about this long and about that deep. And he almost lost his foot, but he did not. And about, I guess 6 months later, just about a month ago, he had an aortic abdominal aneurysm, 10 cc's, 10 millimeters, huge, about 5 inches in diameter, rupture. It ruptured in his tummy. And when it did, he blacked out. He was driving, and he wiped out about 10 fence posts. He was right near the house. And that was a huge blessing, because had that not happened, he would not have been taken to the hospital, where he had to be operated upon immediately. And he lived. It's incredible how the care of God, the partnership of God, just does all kinds of things to take care of us. when we make that decision to become partners. Well, as you all know, there is a big financial aspect to getting hurt and spending time in the hospital, and ours was to the tune, between the two surgeries, it was right around $175,000 for the two, and they were back to back. Boom, boom. Enough to absolutely sink us. I mean, sink us. And I'm 61 and he's 67. It would have been pretty hard, but you know what? It was all taken care of between our insurance and the plan to help people in the hospitals. It is taken care of. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that, you may not get the big job, you may not get a big bunch of money rolling in, but you're going to be taken care of. And I know this. Society, and I'm sorry, religion, have taught us systematically that we are helpless little pitiful dependents of God. And this just is not true. We are not God's pitiful little dependents. We are Creator's loved and loving children. And when we choose to be partners with God, we can have this complete miracle like we have. And we've had many, many miracles. I mean, beginning with the fact that my husband didn't die from this. I just can't tell you how many wonderful things have come to me because of this practice of tithing. And why? Well, I think I know why. Because tithing, whether you're making $100 a week or you're making $1,000 a week, 10% is enough to get your attention. It's enough to give you a little pause, in the beginning, especially when you're writing that check and think, it's enough to do that. They say that it's related to putting back 10% of the seed from a farmer's crop for the next year's crop, and I like to think of it this way. But it is miraculous, and it's miraculous because it's so scary, and it's so outrageous. It's counterintuitive. It doesn't make any sense. You don't have enough money, so you're going to give 10% of it away? Duh! That just doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense to spirit. It just doesn't make sense to the world. There's a big difference. But it's hard to do, and I, who even saw my family prosper and prosper and prosper, I wasn't able to stay with the program until many, many years. I'd tried and failed. But this time, I can tell you, I'm not ever going to not tithe. I wouldn't even consider it. Not out of fear, but just out of how wonderful the incredible results I've had. So give a thought to becoming a full partner with God. Now, when I did this, I was really blessed. I was very, very blessed to have parents or a mother who tithed. My dad just kind of gave her the money and she did whatever with it. I was very blessed because I had that opportunity to see it at work. And very few people have this opportunity to really see it in their own life. But you have the opportunity to have something that I did not when I started to seriously tithe back in '03. What you have is what we're going to be offering, Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus program. And as I told you when I started, this is where I found my life's work, where the work that really speaks to my heart and makes me happy and brings me joy. Even though our church right now is me and Reverend Charlie. We know that it's standing room only with Spirit, with the ascended ones, with the Christ, with all the energies, the beautiful spirits, the fairies, the gods, the goddesses. We know they're all there. But this is so joyful, and I found that through the Prosperity Plus program, because along with my students, I decided that I would make myself a goal too, a dream, not a goal, a dream. There's a difference. A goal, you just kind of plod toward it and you swim toward it, and just the word kind of sucks, doesn't it? Goal. Make a goal. No, no. Don't make a goal. Have a dream. Because when you have a dream, there's juice behind it. When you have a goal, it's just another have to. We all have enough have tos. Have a dream. Because this is magical. Having a dream is magic. And I found my dream through this Prosperity Plus program. And I know that others did too. I know that plenty of people who were in those programs, we ran it several times, I saw people start businesses. I saw someone leave a job that she hated and become 100% happier. I saw healings of relationships. I saw family estrangements healed. I saw all kind of incredible things among my students. And I'd like to ask now, do I have any of my former students who might like to say a little word about what they got out of this? Yes?
It taught me how to change my language. You're right, there were a lot of shouldas, wouldas, have tos, and once I decided to ask, what would I love to do? What do I really want to do? And that goes directly to Mary's story about David and Goliath. That was stuck in my mind. The tone changed. Up until that time, I'd never done volunteer work. I did not want to volunteer. I did not want to work with people. You know, I spent a lot of time volunteering because I realized that I will find myself through you. I couldn't find myself alone. But through other people, I would see my reflection. I would learn. And that's when tithing came in. That's when volunteer work. Everything's changed. The relationship. I mean, I used to look out of my window and say, why am I looking at such a beautiful home and a house and I don't feel joy? I don't feel anything. I was numb. Now I look out through the same window, the same dishes, the same laundry, and I feel joy. And that comes from going in a different direction. It's moving the cheese, killing the cheese. I don't do cheese. But God's tables is whole stuff. And it was not expensive. It was nice to meet those people. So yeah, it has changed everything. But you know what? We're such little animals of creatures, of habits. Sometimes we don't see the big picture. Sometimes we look back and we don't see the changes that are taking place in our lives unless we're looking for them. And this program opens you up to the little changes because you're actually creating them. And so it's a wonderful, I don't know, it was a great lesson, a great way to change my life. So.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks.
Yes, Laura.
I can't explain why, like Linda just did. I just know it was one of the best classes I've ever taken, and it's changed my life completely. I look back, and the reason I got sick the first time 15 years ago, and another relapse about 8 years ago, was because of my fear of lack of finances and being able to pay. And since I took that course, I don't have that fear. It's not like all this money has come in. That hasn't changed. But there's no more fear, the bills are being paid, and that is such a weight off my shoulder and such a lightness. And I tithe all the time, and I'll do it for the rest of my life because, as you said, it makes a difference. And thank you for the class.
Thank you, Laura.
I haven't been in your class, which I look forward to, but I have done the class at a Unity in Gainesville, Georgia. And I did it as a part of our community when we were without a minister, and we really felt like we couldn't afford one. And so an interim person came in a transition, and we did the Prosperity Plus class for quite a while, part of the board and everyone. It changed everybody in their lives when we started tithing regularly. Because we all tithe, but we were kind of erratic, and I think we shared that. And so many of us got on a regular program of tithing, and I saw a profound change in everybody, including myself. For me, I realized that money was an energy, and that when I held on to it tight, that I didn't have enough, and that was the fear of mine was having been raised with a program of lack and scarcity and poor. And all of a sudden, things just opened up in every direction for everybody in there. We manifested the money to hire an amazing new minister, and we grew a community there as a result of that class and Mary's program materials that were there. That was just amazing, and it's still prospering today.
Thank you.
If I could share that for a big picture, it was
Thank-
profound.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who might like to say
I'll
something?
share.
Yeah, great.
I feel before that program I was always generous and maybe even exceeded tithing. It was just sort of like, okay, I just got to throw money to keep whatever I was doing going. And that didn't feel good, put me in a bind. But when I made that conscious decision to tithe, and then, with this group and the center prospered, the flow of energy here at the center is magical now. All our needs are being met and exceeded, some weeks not, but I don't worry about that anymore. We're building, a dream center, and it's not, and it's happening, and I have no idea how, but it is. And it's the flow and the people that come in. It is that surrender and partnership with God in everything we do. And the tithing for me personally it's been wonderful. So yeah, I think the program was awesome. And you weren't with us, but a group of us, 10 of us went to Washington, D.C. We had a blast. It was really fun. And so it's a great way to bond with some people. So thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Charlotte. Anybody else? Claire?
Made a big difference in my life. I feel like I quit the job that I hated. Thought I would be able to keep up with my bills or anything because I was really frightened about it. But through Prosperity 1 and 2, made the decision, and income hasn't changed all that much, but everything is paid. Groceries are there. I can go to the movies, and I can do what I want, and I don't have the stress of something that I really hated, really disliked. I totally recommend 1 and 2, completely. And it gave me the incentive to go ahead and teach with Susan. So it's really well worth the time, and it's very inexpensive in the long run for what I got out of it.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you for being such an awesome teacher with me. We're a great team. We really are. It's been wonderful.
Claire is going to be here as a Meet the Healer Wednesday night in March to present the Prosperity Plus program. For those of you that don't know what it's about, you might want to see that before you decide to sign up.
Well, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it. It's really fun. And what it is it takes some of the fear away, because this is huge. This is really big. Letting go when everything in you screams, hang on, hang on to every penny. And letting go can be hard. But you've all heard the expression, faint heart never won fair lady. Life is about taking chances, taking risks. But with this program, you get to try it on for 12 weeks. 10 weeks, sorry. It's been so long. You get to try on tithing for 10 weeks. Because when you start the program, your agreement is that for the next 10 weeks, you will tithe to the church or organization where the program is offered. 10 weeks. If you don't like it, you don't have to continue. You can just, go back to what you were doing, and that's fine. And believe me, nobody will judge you. It's not about that. This is just an offering of something to lift you up to the next level. And believe me, having your needs met, because now I have my needs met. I didn't for a long time, but boy, now I do. Having your needs met automatically gives you a leg up spiritually, because you're seeing the miracles. You're seeing things like astronomical hospital bills paid. You're seeing things like, wow, it just occurred to me the other day, I get to eat what I want now, not what I can afford. Just little things. It's wonderful. And it just makes you so much happier. It causes you to feel more secure, happier, and it causes you to have faith in spirit that we're not just out here on this planet all alone, that we are loved and cared about. It's amazing. And in the Prosperity Plus class, you have a confidential, totally confidential, we stress that, group. Because finances are sensitive, and we keep it confidential. What is said in the group stays in the group. And it doesn't take very long at all for that group to bond into just a wonderful little sub-family of the Namaste Center. It's beautiful. Happens every time. But you have that support of other people who are going through the same trial you are. And that is just invaluable. And we support each other. We recommend that you get a buddy within this group to talk to if you're having trouble, or you can always call your teachers. And it is just so supportive. It really makes it so much easier. Desperation caused me to be able to finally latch on to tithing, but had I had this group, it would have been a much easier way to go. The program gives you 10 CDs of Mary Morrissey, the Prosperity Queen. I'm really not the Prosperity Queen, I'm the Prosperity Princess. She's the Prosperity Queen, and the woman is good. Her program is really amazing. And we listen to the CDs within the class period. Well, we have videos, we have DVDs we show, and you just, you get to watch her delivering this, and it's very pleasant. She's really interesting to listen to and a lot of fun. But you get a CD of the exact same lesson so that you can listen to it in your own time. There might be something that you want to revisit. Well, you have your CDs to do that. You have all the CDs. You have a great workbook. I really like workbooks. I was a psychology major, so I better like workbooks. Workbooks, I can say from personal experience, have helped me so much with so many issues that I have had in my personal life. Just the act of writing things down and reading very deep and meaningful questions and taking those questions to your inside and getting the answers and writing them down. Workbooks are amazing, and there's a really nice workbook that goes with it. You also, this was offered before. If it's changed, I don't want to be in trouble, but there's a 90-day free morning mentor with Mary Morrissey that you can download on your computer. And it comes with the class, and the morning mentor is excellent. She's a very good motivator and has very, very good videos. That comes with it. That's part of the package. And now, you're probably wondering, well, what does all this cost? It's $49. And I just don't think that's bad. I know that all of you have bought CDs and books and workbooks and stuff and paid for classes and spent a lot more money than that on classes. And so I feel that it's offered at a very, very affordable and reasonable price too. So if any of this appeals to you, I hope you're not, but if you are in a place where you feel desperate, just know that desperate times call for desperate measures. And what could be more desperate than giving away 10% of your income? I mean, really, let's be honest. But because you are paying a price psychologically and materially, you are ready to receive. A lot of us have this not good enough stuff. I mean, it's haunted me all my life, and I almost think it's the human condition, sort of. But when a person doesn't feel like they deserve, when you start tithing and being a partner with God, I just can't tell you what this does to your feelings of deserving. It just makes them go through the roof. It reminds you that, yes, I do deserve. I'm not saying you don't deserve if you don't tithe, but I'm just saying that this tithing really brings it to you. You feel that you are a partner with God, and you really feel it deep down in your soul, especially at a place like the Namaste Center, because you walk in here and you know, I'm a part of this. As a partner with God, I'm helping make this happen for me and all these wonderful people. And it's just a beautiful feeling. So if this appeals to you, please see Claire or myself or Charlotte after the service, and you can sign up. We don't have a time yet, but I'm pretty open for times. Like Charlotte mentioned, it won't be on a Sunday because I'm doing my thing in Tryon on Sunday afternoon. But we will get a time that pretty much works for everybody, and we'll see where we can go from there. So if you're thinking about it, I just have one little thing in closing to share with you. It's a quote by Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. And I thank you, and namaste.